It's good evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you might watch this from. So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking and advocating for African Union to get together and make, kind of tangible progress for the continent. And I'm really happy that of course, they didn't listen to me, but it seems like they had some, kind of socks pulling matters development. And I think it's Sunday after yesterday. There has been a meeting of AU in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Today I was reading this post from our president, William Ruto, Kenyan president. Hey, before I continue, it's Babu Vlogs from Kenya, but I reside here in Finland for the time being. So the president wrote, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is a bold affirmation of African ability to measure its own resources and shape its destiny. Funded entirely by Ethiopian people, it is more than an infrastructure project. It is Africa's largest hydropower facility. So I think there was an inauguration of this dam, and he continued to say, with an estimated capacity of 6,450 megawatts and a continental symbol of self-reliance and progress. For Kenya, it offers immense promise. We are ready to sign a power purchase agreement with Ethiopia to offtake surplus electricity to power our industries, ICT hubs, manufacturing and agro-processing, while strengthening competitiveness, creating jobs and driving sustainable growth. So yes, we give it up for Ethiopian people and the government Naul for making this kind of a mega project. Even though the Kenyan president seems to, congratulate Ethiopian people and its leadership, but my question still, holds that why is it not Kenya? Because such a mega dams or mega projects we have been funding through, a big borrowing, and part of the money that ends up in people's pockets through, corruption. But yeah, before I continue, let's read all of this. No nation should be denied the chance to build such transformative assets, because with time they become shared resources of prosperity. Yet, even as we celebrate, we remain mindful of different perspectives among Nile Basin countries. Kenya reaffirms its support for equitable use of shared waters and urges Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan to continue pursuing trilateral talks in good faith. I clearly don't understand what does that mean. Dialogue and compromise remains the surest path to a fair agreement that safeguards prosperity and stability for all. I would argue that the catchment of those dams, I think, if not given a leeway to flow southwards, I think that's the argument here, or it seems to touch on such argument that they must, release or let also the other countries benefit from this flow. Honor to join fellow leaders witnessing the historic inauguration of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam at Benishangul, Gumuz region. Congratulations to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the Ethiopian people on this remarkable achievement. And there were some pictures there. So yeah, I think it's a good thing that the countries are standing on their own, making such a big progress, matters, development. But yeah, my question would remain, what was the Africa's Union input in this, or were they just invited, to do inauguration and for the leaders to see and learn from the Ethiopian government? But I think it's a milestone and a good thing. Yeah, and other news that I was reading today, it was that there has been a motion in Kenyan Senate. It's the upper parliamentary, system. I don't know who has taken it there. So this motion, is saying that presidential term shall be, extended to 7 years, and that of members of parliament and senate and member of, county assembly. I don't know, I didn't read about a governor. Are they extended also for governorship seats? And yeah, so for the longest, I think it has played as a tactic, for government of the day in Kenyan politics. As a year or 2 years before we are approaching to general elections, they seem to sponsor this kind of bills that goes to parliament and seems to interrupt, the alignment of Kenyan voters and how they would reason with the government of the day. So I think this kind of initiative that will eventually polarize people's minds and, along the divisions of how people are debating. And later on, as we approach elections, it's just a tactic to make sure that people are not, keeping in mind or in lines of how they should vote and how would they reason with the politicians as they campaign. And this is from big girls and boys. So yeah, it has been seen earlier or in previous governments, at least from 2002 when I first voted for the first time. I've seen those kind of arrangements and the kind of politicking with all, executives. So this is one of them, and as they do it, they know they are playing politics and trying, to divide Kenyan, voters, so that come next elections, maybe the government of the day gets a chance to be re-elected, or some people, powerful people, will, get their say. Yeah, but let's wait and see how it progresses, because a couple of weeks ago I was talking that, continent of Africa or the African Union, must stand up and really put those presidential terms, especially presidential terms, to a limit to each and every country in continent of Africa. To be a must, really, because it's this kind of partly playing games that they start, and before you know it, president is staying there for a lot of years, because we have had, I think our second, not I think, but our second president, stayed in power for 24 years. Then after that, we didn't have those kind of dramatic events, but it seems now that they are trying to introduce again these kind of gimmicks. Yeah, and it's really not good for anyone, because if you cannot develop and do your away with your ideas for 5 years, what will you do in 10, 20 years? And eventually, apart from Kagame, that has been called like a good, dictator, because he has really developed Rwanda. I don't think there is any African leader who has stayed there for long and did anything, that we could say it's for the benefit of its countrymen and women. So I think for me, this is one thing that I would oppose, from the word go, even though I know it's kind of playing politics and they know this. But yeah, luckily, Kenyan people and a bigger population of the youth, as read the mood of leaders, and they have come to understand that, those are kind of tactics they are using. But let's see, come 2027, what would happen? Will the voters, turn out to be educative and choosing leaders consciously, or we will get also to that the mess we have been going around of mass bribing of voters and really messing around with the electoral bodies, making sure the leaders of the day still take the positions. But yeah, those were some of my highlights of the day. And if you watch this, you are new or returning subscriber, consider following, liking or sharing, and I will keep you posted.